Good morning. I'm over at my uncle's former house. He lived here for 31 years, from 1986 to 2017. And the reason why he sold the house was his sister died. And she had a house, my uncle inherited it, and it's just a block over here. But this is a house that he bought in 1986, and it's the one with the Jeep and with the big tree of heaven next to the driveway. Yeah, so I stayed here for about 3 months while my house was in escrow. We go back up a little bit. The summer of '89, my dad gave me the idea of buy a house in Joshua Tree. And because I couldn't buy a house in Yucca Valley because they had the water moratorium and they weren't building in Yucca Valley. This is the Farmers Home Administration for low-income housing. So I moved in, and I worked over at Target, which is 38 miles down the hill. It's actually in Cathedral Cities. I was about to say Palm Springs, but yeah. So I went from a 2-mile drive to work to 38 miles, and I did that. It was in September. It was beginning of September 1989. So then I worked down there for almost 3 years, from '89 to '92. So, but in '92, they built the first Walmart here. So that's why I moved. That's why I changed jobs from Target to Walmart, because my drive was shortened by 30 miles, because I went from 38 miles to 6 miles, because Joshua Tree is a little bit out from, it's about 6 or 8 miles from here east. And then of course you have 29 Palms, and then after 29 Palms, that's the edge of civilization. There's you start seeing signs says no services for 100 miles, so you really have to plan for that, you know. And that's really the way we go to Vegas too. We go out 62, and then we go north after that, through north to Amboy. And if you know this area, you know we're in the desert, you know. And there's lots of nicknames for the desert, but I'll just keep it family oriented. If you live out in the desert, you find all the nicknames for the desert. So yeah, he has a corner house, and the other trees on his property are fruitless mulberries, which have really taken over. I'll go over here so you can see it. And those branches are just touching almost touching the street, you know. So the person who bought it rented it out. So my uncle suddenly found himself with 2 houses, so he sold the one he originally bought, and the one he took over has a lot more land. It's got a huge backyard. I think it's an acre of land, you know. But so far they've been successful in harvesting tumbleweeds. So well, they had a camping trailer there. It wasn't a pop-up. It was a regular hard roof trailer. So that was pretty good for the first 10 years. My parents would come up and visit, and then they'd all go up to Vegas. And so I was working away at Target and Walmart, and you know, fixing up the house. I put some tile over in Joshua Tree, put some tile in there, and I didn't screw up the house that bad. And it was rentable afterwards, after being married twice and have other relatives stay there, and now it's managed by Coldwell Banker. So there's a risk there, but the plan is I was going to move back up here after my court stuff that I with my second marriage. So I was going to move back in 2008, but it turned out that I was at San Diego State, and it didn't turn out that way. So, and then 4 years after that, my parents died about 11 weeks apart. So then that's how I became back as a San Diego resident. So it's kind of living in two places at once. But now it's pretty good. I come up here every month, visit my uncle, and makes for a good getaway, you know. And we really had a break this time because it was raining and it was kind of cool, and it wasn't as hot, you know. It wasn't, you know, just like you open the front door, it's a furnace, you know. So anyway, this is my leaving day. I'm going back, and the next trip is Vegas, and then after Vegas I got these little mini trips I go, because the thing is I'm kind of scared of my uncle driving, because we had a deal where he would drive up to Kelso and then I would drive from Kelso to Vegas. Well, Kelso's about 150 miles away from here, and it's a lot of driving, and he's 90 years old, and Bart can only see through one eye, so that's, he enjoys driving it, but you know, I just for safety, you know. So we got 2 more Vegas trips. Maybe we might add another one, I don't know. We got July and November. So yeah, we're just goofing around Cholla Avenue here. This is used to be the flood district, but since they put the sewer in, they used to be on septic tank. So they you know, all cities that are incorporated in California, they made them switch to septic system to regular sewers. So they redid the road, and his neighbor David, he put in some drainage so that when it rains, it's not going to flood so bad, you know. So what they have is the washes here. So if they get a flash flood or something, they get these big giant wash. Some of them they built concrete channels for it, but here, in a lot of places, like when it rains, the dirt goes on the street, and a lot of even on the highway. So anyway, we'll show you some of that dirt on one of my next videos. Okay, so over and out from Yucca Valley.